All right, let's dive right in. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're unpacking a really fascinating piece of modern media. We're going to take a close look at a recent broadcast from the political commentary show Chicks on the Right. But we aren't just looking at what they said, we're actually looking at how they said it. We are breaking down exactly how modern punditry structures its arguments to capture your attention, build emotional investment, and ultimately engage viewers in a very specific way. Honestly, it's pretty much a masterclass in rhetorical flow. So here's our roadmap for today. Number 1, investigating SNAP benefit fraud. Number 2, the philosophy on welfare. Number 3, claims against Minnesota officials. And number 4, the laundry sauce pivot. Yeah, you heard that right, laundry sauce. We're going to see a fascinating structural leap from federal DOJ subpoenas all the way to luxury laundry detergent. Let's get into it. Section 1, investigating SNAP benefit fraud, focusing on J.D. Vance's claims. Okay, so to hook the viewer, the hosts immediately establish this sense of immense scale. They kick off the segment by discussing statements from J.D. Vance, who they point out is now heavily involved in investigating nationwide fraud. And the very first major data point they drop is this: 355,000. According to the broadcast, that's the number of individuals currently receiving double SNAP benefits, what we commonly call food stamps. By starting with this massive six-figure number, the hosts instantly raise the stakes. They frame the issue as a systemic crisis literally right out of the gate. But wait, they don't stop there. They move immediately to an even more provocative figure: 186,000. The hosts share Vance's claim that there are currently 186,000 deceased Americans who are supposedly still receiving food stamps. And when you listen to the broadcast, you can hear the genuine shock in their delivery as they repeat this number. To really bolster the credibility of these claims, the hosts bring up Vance's personal background. They note that because he grew up poor, he deeply understands the welfare system, the benefits, and exactly how people might take advantage of it.
And to finish off this total bombardment of data, we have the number 22. The hosts note that the Department of Justice went from discovering alleged fraud in Minneapolis to serving 22 investigatory procedures and subpoenas in just 3 months. They use this super rapid timeline to assure their audience that, hey, action is being taken, and when crime is found, people will face prison time. The structure here is just highly effective. You present a massive problem with those first 2 numbers, and then boom, you present swift, decisive action with the third.
Section 2, the philosophy on welfare, temporary versus side hustle.
Now, the really crucial point is how the hosts transition from these hard numbers into their own ideological framework. They use the backlash they've seen on social media regarding welfare work requirements to kind of outline their own philosophy. On one hand, they explicitly state their ideal vision. To them, welfare should carry some shame and be strictly temporary, like something you use just for a little bit while doing everything you absolutely can to get off it. But on the other hand, they express this extreme frustration and what they perceive as current abuse. They're talking about people making welfare their occupation or a side hustle, and they specifically cite alleged examples of recipients owning luxury vehicles like Teslas or Lamborghinis. This stark contrast, the ideal versus the abuse, anchors the audience in a shared sense of moral outrage.
Section 3, claims against Minnesota officials, the blame game. So having established the fraud and the moral failing, the hosts pivot. They shift the blame from the individuals taking advantage of the system directly to specific politicians who they claim are enabling it. Citing commentator Dustin Grage, they map out a very specific pattern of alleged obstruction in Minnesota. They claim Democrats unanimously blocked a Senate investigation into Tim Walz over the fraud. They claim they unanimously blocked an investigation into Keith Ellison, and they claim they unanimously blocked a subpoena into Ilhan Omar. The hosts use the strategic repetition, blocked, 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 to argue that local and state representatives are absolutely no help and in fact are actively defending criminals. Let's see how this builds to the rhetorical climax of the political segment. Regarding those blocked investigations, the hosts ask, well, who is doing that? And they conclude that it's instant proof the officials are just in on it. They state flat out that you cannot trust state and local officials, which makes federal intervention absolutely necessary. And that brings us to this incredibly powerful quote. The whole system is corrupt. Everybody is like scratching the backs of everybody else. It's so freaking dirty. At this point, they've built immense tension. They leave the viewer feeling totally surrounded by a deeply compromised, dirty system. Section 4, the laundry sauce pivot, the cleansing. Okay, this right here is where the rhetorical architecture is just brilliant. It flawlessly illustrates the art of the modern ad read. The hosts have just established that the political system is freaking dirty, and the very next sentence spoken is, it needs a big bath. They take the metaphorical dirt of systemic political corruption and use it as a literal, linguistic bridge to transition straight into a commercial for laundry detergent. I mean, it is seamless. The emotional energy of that political outrage is instantly funneled right into a consumer pitch without missing a single beat. The tone immediately shifts from intense federal DOJ subpoenas to the joys of domestic bliss. The hosts just start raving about their sponsor, Laundry Sauce. They talk about turning their laundry rooms into she-sheds equipped with TVs and music. They highlight the beautiful packaging and these elevated spa-like scents, sandalwood, bergamot, and Egyptian rose. They specifically note that they do not want their laundry smelling like bathroom disinfectant. And of course, then comes the call to action. You can find it at Target or get 20% off your entire order at laundrysauce.com using the promo code CHICKS20. It's a complete 180-degree tonal shift executed perfectly.
Which brings us to our final thought. Today, we've traced the line from 186,000 allegedly deceased food stamp recipients and DOJ subpoenas straight to sandalwood-scented laundry detergent. It really shows us how carefully structured media can guide our emotions, from shock to moral clarity to frustration and right into the checkout cart. So I want to leave you with this question to think about. From political fraud to fresh laundry, how do your favorite creators blend outrage with advertising? Keep an eye out for these kinds of pivots the next time you tune into your favorite shows. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.